Welcome back. You're watching this special broadcast of the Buck Stops here tonight from Chandigarh. Remember, the show is on the road to 2014, bringing you special ground reports and interviews with the key newsmakers on the campaign trail from a different part of the country every night. Here, of course, at Cindy's Sweets, one of the most popular places in Chandigarh, we've just seen the most volatile debate between the three key candidates of Chandigarh. Remember, Chandigarh is an unusual constituency because 45% of the electorate is actually women. And there are not two but three women candidates in the fray this time. Now time for our special report looking at Chandigarh's politics through the eyes of its women. In the city that the French architect Le Corbusier created, the open-hand monument, rising 85 feet high from a sunken trench, was one of his recurring motifs. Designed in metal as a symbol of peace in a city that is meant to be open to both giving and receiving, it is testimony to the careful planning that gave birth to Chandigarh. Today, however, it's not the open hand, but the Congress hand that finds itself not open but locked in a fist fight with not one but two challengers. Pawan Bansal, forced out of the railway ministry after his nephew was charge-sheeted in a cash for post scam, is a four-time member of parliament. A well-networked politician in the city, his otherwise low-profile persona has been forced to react to the dare thrown at him by two glamorous women, Kiran Kher from the BJP and Gul Panag from the Aam Aadmi Party.
Rahul Gandhi ਅਤੇ ਮੋਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਰਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਸਟੇਜਿਸ ਤੇ ਵੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਰਖਾਸਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਵੋਟ ਕਾਂਗਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣ ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮੌਕਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਦਾ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਣ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੈ ਹਿੰਦ
At the age of 65, not just is Pawan Bansal contending with relatively younger and, of course, new female faces contesting against him, he also has to deal with the changing demographics of Chandigarh. Remember that more than 45% of the voters here are women. Also, nearly half of the electorate is under 45. 23,000 voters will be casting their vote for the very first time. What's also interesting and unusual about Chandigarh as a constituency is the high number of women candidates here. Apart from Kiran Kher of the BJP and Gul Panag of the Aam Aadmi Party, there's also Jannat Jahan of the BSP. So let's find out how the women of Chandigarh are looking at this election. Neela Mansingh, award-winning theatre director and member of the Citizens Council, tells us that the first thing those not from here need to understand is that the usual political assumptions that apply to electoral mathematics don't fit as neatly here. Why is Chandigarh different from the rest of the country?
I think it's a new city. It's a city without history and memory. It is a city which creates its own history and memory. It is a city of migrants. It was basically set up to rehabilitate the exodus that came post-partition. So it is a city where everyone cannot claim ancestry.
And how does that impact politics?
I think there's a freshness, there's an openness, there's a sense of acceptability. A new person can be absorbed, can be made relevant, can be given its own sense of belonging. So I think the whole impulses and the whole reasons and the motivations are so specific and intangible that I don't think that the rhetorics of them not being part of the city and etc. really have much relevance.
It's an interesting observation, especially given that both Kiran Kher and Gul Panag have been repeatedly questioned about whether they will move from Mumbai to Chandigarh full-time. Both women who were born in Chandigarh have shrugged off the outsider trap as untrue and unfair, and both agree on only one thing, that they are scrutinized differently because they are women.
आप चाहते हैं आपकी जिंदगी बेहतर हो, मैं आपकी बहन जी बनकर यहाँ पर आऊँ, चंडीगढ़ में रहूँ आपके पास.
Gul Panag has tried to break the female stereotype in other ways as well, including taking a bullet ride through the city to target voters. She is hoping that the Arvind Kejriwal roadshow struck a chord with the voters and will have a booster impact in her very first political foray. But famous author and poet Babu Tir says what most people forget is that Chandigarh is the one city where the bureaucrats are the real bosses, not the netas.
Chandigarh has always been politically very much charged, but it has also been a bureaucratic hostel of sorts, so there are a lot of power centers. It's not essentially the elected representative
Who holds all the power?
who holds all the power. And there is a lot of difference among the electorate here. Punjab de masle te Chandigarh de masle bahut vakre ne. It's a privileged city. But decidedly we have gone beyond the celebrity tags. So we need somebody who is a local candidate, who represents us, who can look into the day-to-day affairs, the functioning of the government. And yes, another thing, we need an easy access to a politician.
In the city's bustling Sector 22, one of the favourite foodie joints is Tehil Singh's Chicken and Family Hall. Supervising its signature butter chicken dish, the owner Shubhlata says Chandigarh is ready for a change and that the issues that concern women, above all, are priceless.
कांग्रेस से लोग बहुत परेशान बहुत ज्यादा।
अच्छा, क्यों परेशान है? क्योंकि सेंटर में जो परफॉर्मेंस रही है उसको लेके कि लोकली जो परफॉर्मेंस रही है उसको लेके
भी महंगाई सबसे ज्यादा मुद्दा महंगाई का है। बहुत ज्यादा महंगाई से लोग परेशान हैं।
अच्छा,
दुनिया त्राही कर रही है इसका।
अच्छा,
हर चीज देखो, पेट्रोल ही 82 रुपए लीटर कर दिया, हर चीज महंगी हो गई, तो लोग कहाँ जाए? जो गृहिणी है, आम औरत है, वो कहाँ जाए? तनख्वाह वही है, पैसा तनख्वाह तो बढ़ी नहीं और कहीं पैसे का कोई इंतजाम नहीं, लेकिन दुनिया कहाँ जाएगी? महंगाई करके ज्यादा लोग परेशान।
With an unprecedented national focus on the Chandigarh seat, residents say they too are finding it tough to read the tea leaves. What do you think Chandigarh will vote on? What do you think?
Chandigarh will vote on.
What's the central issue?
You go to the golf club where there are all these 4Gs, they say Gulpanag Sadi Beti. You know, and Sukhna Lake, and you know, all the so-called centers where we go for our evening walk. We see her there, and she's very pleasant and very pleasing. Kiran Khed, because, I mean, I like Kiran very much. She's a good friend, but there is the new kind of energy that seems to be swamping the country about the BJP. Bansal, because he's pleasing and he's an old hand. So I really don't know. I think it is so ambiguous that even to make a conjecture would perhaps not really give a clear picture.
So as Chandigarh hedges its bets on who wins on 16th May, the political bhangra is most colourful. It may be London Thumakta that's a hit in the movies, but in this political drama, it's Chandigarh Thumakta to the beats of the voter. In Chandigarh, with Ruby Dhingra, Manoj Thakur, Manu Nair, Numan Siddiqui and Anand Patel, Barkha for NDTV. So a fascinating, unpredictable election, and that's it on the program tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. from a different part of the country as Buck Stops Here is on the road to 2014. From the entire team, thanks for watching. Good night.